Benvenuti di nuovo a questa serie di video clip, My Journey to God in a Very Secularized World. We're talking on the topic in the last few video clips that you can find also printed, the great destruction of secular feminism. Eugenics was used by Hitler to eliminate the undesirable races and to promote the Aryan race. Margaret Sanger worked with Hitler and then founded Planned Parenthood in the United States to diminish the population by promoting artificial birth control and abortion. It is interesting that even though the blacks of African Americans in the United States comprise only about 12% of the population, 40% of the abortions are done on black women who are targeted with many abortion clinics by Planned Parenthood. With the technology today, eugenics is now called transhumanism, in which the rich super elite are seeking to transform every human being in all of creation to a super level by using chemtrails, HAARP, and nanotechnology to modify our own personal DNA. In our supposed democracies run by the people, who gave these arrogant little dictators permission to do this? Where are the real men, inspired by holy wives, ready to give their lives to protect their wives, families, and society from these Hitler-type people? Where are the men to say, what's going on here? You might read my article with the title, "Those who open their eyes are labeled conspiracy theorists." So dear friends, let us imitate Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, the Holy Family, by staying close to the Eucharist, frequent confessions, and the Holy Daily Rosary. St. Padre Pio said it would be easier for the world to survive without the sun than to do so without the Holy Mass. This saint also said, the Rosary is the weapon for these times. A good confession, a sacrament, is more powerful than an exorcism, a sacramental. Our Lady said to St. Dominic in 1214, "One day through the Rosary and the brown scapular I will save the world." Satan fears that we discover what the saints tell us. St. John Bosco said, "Make frequent visits to Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, and the devil will be powerless against you." In this period of the Great Tribulation, the Church, we find in the Catechism, it's written like this: the Church will enter the glory of the kingdom only through this final Passover, when she will follow her Lord in his death and resurrection. Paragraph 677. But Our Lady of Fatima says, in the end, my Immaculate Heart will triumph. And there will be fulfilled the Evangelium, Genesis 3:15, in this period, as St. Louis de Montfort tells us. If you go to the article, the Great Destruction of Secular Feminism, you can find also many references for the internet, such as an article, "Why Educated Liberal Women Are the Real Threat to Our Republic." Another article, "Feminism's Genocide." And also, you know, the English language has been specifically used by the feminists to promote their ideology. One of the most radical changes of secular feminism is never to speak of God in the masculine gender. Why? Because to speak of God as He implies that God has mastery over the whole human race. This, in fact, may be said to be the radical foundation of feminism. At root, it is opposed to any faith in God, who is creator and master of the universe. The woman by nature is looking more at details in the persons in the family. Man as protector is wired to look around to discover what might threaten his domain, house, wife, and society. This also includes a greater ability to discover the various hidden poisons continually offered in attractive ways, not only in the world, but especially in the Catholic Church since 2013. The wife is in general, is not wired to look at these things. The television today portrays women as the one to look to for guidance and protection, not the man, which is very effective in promoting the secular feminist agenda of subconsciously telling people to look to the women, not the man, for guidance and protection, which is lacking today more than ever before. It is very politically incorrect and even reprehensible and condemned to point this out today. Even in the Catholics, it's not politically correct. Certain New Testament Bible verses regarding how men and women should conduct themselves are interpreted as only applicable 2,000 years ago, but no longer for the modern world, as if human nature has changed. Go to my article and you can get the references. Very often, men on the television are made to look ridiculous and macho, like Rambo. If a man or a woman put God truly first in their lives, with much prayer and the sacraments, and resist the false propaganda of the world, their vocations will become fulfilled according to God, despite being surrounded by a perverse generation. When I had mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again, that when I went to the March of Life in Rome in May 18, 2019, I met a woman who boasted to be a new theologian in the Vatican. A few minutes later, I met Professor Schifert of Austria, who was fired by the Vatican because he was a famous professor. He was even given a great position by John Paul II for the family, and the Vatican threw him out because he wrote an article that explained very clearly, as a professor of theology, that Amoris Laetitia is a total break with Catholic tradition and the Bible. And you can find this in an article, my article, Courage to Proclaim the Whole Truth. Since April of 2013, many good theologians and good Christian men in the church have been replaced by women and men who at least do not realize the great dangers to the family, society, and the church, and who are politically correct and who always say yes to the new theology of the modern church, which offers a Christianity without the cross of Christ, which is what most Christians want today. This has been taking place all over in the church and the world in a hidden way with the great encouragement of the mass media. To other articles, I would encourage the encyclical of John Paul II, Mulieris Dignitatem, and other articles such as Alice von Hildebrand, her article on this, because radical feminism is not only opposed to masculinity or fatherhood, it is even more savage in its rejection of motherhood. The feminists are radically hostile to the mothering of children. In fact, the image of mother is just as much in need of transformation as the image of father, according to them. You can find articles such as, "A godless feminist is a male with feminine traits." And Obama was pushing this like crazy, and all the Democrats are pushing this. For example, Obama in 2010, there's an article, "The Obama administration has endorsed a proposal to create a new UN bureaucracy dedicated to restructuring relationships between the sexes along radical feminist lines. The new super agency is supported by a consortium of feminist organizations called the Gender Equality Architecture Reform Campaign." The radical feminist proposal for UN super agency wins Obama administration backing. This is other articles you can find about this, that they're promoting all this stuff. And of course, our mass media and scientific studies are totally, they say, unbiased. Ha ha. Children of lesbians have fewer behavioral problems studies suggest, according to the biased media. And another comment, unlike many here who want to buck each way with their gay friends, I'll tell you, this study goes against every other study on the subject of the last 40 years. In other words, it is biased from the start. As government people say privately, never have an inquiry unless you know the outcome. That's the way they do it today. And you can find also in that article I wrote, well explained, in fact, maybe I'll continue this in the next video clip. May God bless you and Mary guide you.